I'll take you live to Victoria, where OMNI TV political analyst Kim Emerson joins us. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
Let's dive right into this. Got so many questions for you. How likely are the teachers to pursue a full-on strike?
Well, it's a bit of a loaded question because there's a whole bunch of elements, and I suppose we'll get to some of those, but it is entirely likely that the teachers who actually go out to vote for strike action will vote in favor of strike action. But you have to realize that less than half of eligible teachers voted to take the job action that they're taking. Sure, 90% of those voted in favor, but that's where we're at. So they've got about half the teachers coming out and deciding for all teachers which direction they're going to go. That's not a good situation at any time. You really should have a lot more of those affected voting to decide whether they're going to take full action or not. But it is likely that those who vote will vote in favor of full-scale job action because of what the LRB has done in okaying the government to roll back their wages by 10%.
All right, let's continue to talk about money. The BCTF has said it is running out of it for strike pay. How much longer can they afford to be on the picket line?
Well, you can never afford to be on a picket line, to be honest. I mean, $50 a day, I mean, while people on income assistance would love to have that, for teachers, that's a pittance, and that's not going to pay their bills at the end of the day. So the $50 a day strike pay that they get isn't a king's ransom, and it's not going to be the deciding factor in whether they go out on strike. Sure, it's $250 a week, but you know, for a full-scale strike, to get what they're after, if they actually think that they can get it, which I don't think they can, but if they think they can get it, it's not a big price to pay, and the strike fund is down. It's the collective bargaining defense fund, and you have to realize they've spent an awful lot of that money fighting and winning in the courts against the government on the job action that they've taken against them in 2002 and again in 2011, where the government was found to have violated their rights, their fundamental rights, and the government's still pursuing that to a higher court.
Much of what you just said has led to really a landslide of support to be behind the teachers. Both sides seem to be saying the same things over and over and over again as they continue to come forward to the media. If job action does escalate, how will that affect support for the teachers' cause, do you think?
Well, you see, that's a tricky one, because a lot of times, and this is what the government banks on, and this is why the government was trying to push the last time that the court found towards a strike, not bargaining in good faith, because they know a full-scale strike turns the public against the teachers. So that's what the government in some ways is really hoping for. Now, Peter Fassbender, he did come out and say something different the other day. He came out and said not that he was just disappointed, as he usually does. He said he was profoundly disappointed. That doesn't mean anything different than what it meant before. But where we're at is a situation where the government has got its heels dug in. The teachers have got their heels dug in. They brought their wage demand down a little bit, but when you look at everybody else's wage scales and increases that they got, it's still way, way, way out of whack, and there's no way that the government's going to go for it. Essentially, you're looking at a situation, teachers asking for 15%, government offering about 7.5%. You think, well, reasonable people would say split the difference, let's get this over with, but that's not going to happen.
Now, we were talking about Education Minister Peter Fassbender. He came out today and said exams and report cards are going to happen for those who need them, like graduating students and those who are taking public or government exams, but they haven't really come up with a plan as to exactly how that's going to work.
Well, here's the plan the way it's worked in the past. When teachers have decided that they're going to do this sort of thing, full-scale strike, the government goes to the LRB, gets an essential service designation, and then that forces the teachers to have to commit a certain number of teachers to be available for final exams. And the government is most concerned about the graduating classes. So that's where this is at right now, and they're also looking at any other options they have. But you know what? The people that are being left out in this thing the whole time, students and parents. If the government wants to penalize the teachers and the teachers are trying to penalize the government, you know what? The students and teachers need a break, or students and parents need a break too. Students should get a 10% increase on their mark to make up for what they're losing, and parents should get a 10% tax break from the government for what they're having to give up in order to find other accommodation for their kids.
What is the likelihood of that happening?
Nah, ain't gonna happen.
Exactly. There you go. We always love your perspective. OMNI BC political analyst Kim Emerson speaking to us live from Victoria. Thanks, Kim.